Hello. Long time no Dougie. Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome. The Grizzly 10-inch bandsaw. 3 months in. What do we know? My initial unboxing of this was so bad. I was still doing 130 hours a week and trying to do videos and build the old man cave, and the video came out terrible and I missed a lot. So 3 months in, very, very happy with it. My only complaint, I have a couple. It's not perfect. It's, but it is pretty sweet. So most people are probably familiar with these. I have had this forever, 21 years. It still has the original blade on it, which is in really good shape. Oddly, this came with a pretty decent blade. Unlike the Grizzly, came with a crappy blade. But these are underpowered. You can get these for under $100 now. Well, with inflation and everything, maybe around $120. Some of your better ones, $150 to $200. They're weak and you can't really do a whole lot with them, but they're okay. This thing's been so handy and I've had it and used it for a very long time. It just wasn't good for real work. I don't know, I can't explain it. It wouldn't like resaw lumber. You couldn't really cut anything significant with it. Even with the upgraded blade, it doesn't have the power. The motor is so puny, it just doesn't have the jam to do some serious cutting. This has the same motor as a lot of the real big ones, a half a horsepower. Or I think it might, yeah, half horse. Here's the model number and such. The blade sucked. The blade it came with was such a piece of crap. It's okay for some smaller, softwood type cuts and nothing major, but I mean, I barely did anything with this and it's got a ton of busted teeth and it's just a cheap, I'm surprised they don't give you a decent blade with it. This is as thin of a blade as I've ever felt, and you could just tell it's junk. I went on Amazon immediately and ordered a thicker, stiffer, less tooth per inch for what I wanted. I'm not cutting metal with it. And they're cheap too. They're not very expensive. Bandsaw blades are pretty cheap. They're only $10, I think you can, like anything, spend a lot. I've seen them up to 100. This one was like 18, 20 bucks. And I was resawing hardwood lumber with it on edge, the long, thick way. A piece of wood as thick as this, and it zipped through it, no problem. I mean, you couldn't ram it through there. You had to feed it really slow. But regardless, it got the job done. I'm happy with it though. But yeah, first thing you have to do with this is probably get a new blade. You can get by with the one that came with it just fine, but if you were going to do any serious stuff, it's going to be a disappointment. What else? One thing I just missed in the first video that's pretty sweet is the dust collection. It has, if you ever have to move, don't ever move it by the bed. Always grab the base, because this thing is actually a very precision set part of it. If you're having problems, like I always struggle to get a straight cut. There's something, I don't know if it's me, no matter what bandsaw I use, I can't get a straight cut. I'm just not that good at it. But if this thing is skewed, you're never really going to get a straight cut. So if you do have to move it and stuff, don't grab it by the bed. One thing I did notice when I was resawing wood is this blade would start to deflect and you couldn't get a straight cut. The blade would twist and you'd be coming out of the side of it. This thicker blade has not done that at all. There's no real twist in there. Initially, I thought I was crooked here. That every time I was trying to cut something, the blade was coming to the same direction. It would just cock to the right and start working its way right. I thought it was the bed or the fence. Something was off, I thought. But that wasn't the case. It was just the blade wasn't stiff enough. What else? But anyway, the dust collection is really nice. That I think technically you can use 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6 different size hoses this will accept. So that's pretty nice. And honestly, one thing about a bandsaw, it doesn't really throw out that much dust and stuff. It's very easy to use. It's very quiet. It doesn't fill the whole room with dust like every other piece of equipment, like a table saw, miter saw. Even with the dust collection, the whole place is full of dust, every cut. This is nice. It's so safe. I think it's probably one of the most important things you could have in a shop. And it's one of the things that you'll want to actually get the most expensive one you can. It's something that's going to be used a lot. It's a key component to any shop. It's safe too. I would let a 9-year-old use this. I would, supervise them, but it's not very dangerous as long as you're careful. And even if you mess up and run your hand into the blade, it's not going to tear you apart like a table saw or some other pieces of equipment. It's going to slice you up. It's not going to take your digits off, It's just going to cut you. There's no way this is going to take your digit off. Where a table saw, boom, you're fingerless in a friggin' blink of an eye. You're a nubber. So that's one nice thing about them. And they're handy. Just for quick cutting stuff, I use bandsaws all the time. Even the cheap little $100 one is like the handiest thing ever. One thing this doesn't have that is a new feature on a lot of them is a spring or a blade tension release. So when you're not going to use it, you'll want to lower the tension on your blade, and it's going to give you some longer life. This doesn't have that. You'd have to physically, when you're done for the day, or if you're not going to use it for a long time, unscrew the tension. I don't know how important that is. I've yet to do it, but same time I use it pretty much every other day, at least once a day, so it's not just sitting idle. Oh boy, it's been there. It is actually a 2-speed, and I'd never even realized that until I was vacuuming this out like a couple days ago, that there are 2 sets of pulleys on here, so you can change the speed, which I have not messed with. I don't know the real deal, so as far as speeds and what, I guess if you're cutting metal, you may want a slower speed or a faster speed. I think it's slower, actually. I'm not sure, though. I'll have to do some research for that, but the stand is pretty decent. Not, this is cheapest metal they can make it out of, but it's okay. What else? It's got a decent little light. What is this? There's another adjustment back here. I don't even know what it is. I don't know what this does. So actually, I never even noticed, really paid no mind to it. There's a little toggle and knob back here. What in the heck does that do? That may be if you need to disconnect the wheel. I bet you if you have to take that wheel off, that's what that's for. Again, with my lack of knowledge. What else? You can upgrade this fence. It's kind of junky. It's a decent fence as far as most bandsaws really don't come with a decent fence anyhow. But it's reasonable. It's threaded, so you can add stuff. You can change what side you want it on. It's pretty simple and straightforward, and you may even be able to make your own, but it's okay, and you could upgrade it pretty easy. It's got all holes and stuff to add things, and I have already built up the fence for real large cuts. Yeah, I've been very happy with it. I cannot complain. The blade sucked that it came with. That's about the worst thing I could say about it. 3 months in, a fine addition. Grizzly's known to make good stuff. Not great. They're not the end all be all. In fact, when I got this thing, I was putting it together and I found a lot of things that were messed up on it. Things wouldn't line up, like they must have been made at a different time, different place or something. That a lot of the stuff didn't line up properly for assembly. One thing I actually had to like grind, like it didn't even fit. Like what happened here? But they're very, I don't know what the word is. I guess they're stout. They're almost like an industrial level of equipment. Step up from your homeowner. I don't know what to compare it to, you know. As far as 10-inch bandsaws go, all the big names make them. Delta, Jet, Rikon, Laguna. I could go on and on. There's 100. There's 100. You can spend, I think this was about, why can't I remember? It wasn't super cheap. It was like $300. But it had a half horse, which a lot of the real big ones have. And price-wise, it wasn't that much more than all the other big names in there. Big black fingerprint, but yeah, for the price, I'm happy with it. It's been really cool. I've been doing a lot of crazy stuff with it too. I love resawing wood. There's just something so satisfying about it. So I've been like, you know, gluing together, making like a board like this. So I'll glue these together and then I'll come and cut it in half and make slices of board out of these really expensive woods. Everybody's selling these for cutting boards. You see these everywhere, these slabs of like maple, this is purple heart, mahogany, cherries, and I've been gluing them together and making boards out of them. So they're not all that expensive. People are kind of on a little cutting board craze in the woodworking community. Everybody's making cutting boards, so you can get them things pretty cheap. But anyway, thanks for taking the time. If you were in the market, it's a good way to go. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all with this thing. And it's not crazy expensive. It's not super huge and heavy. That was another issue. I had to get this thing down into a underground layer all by myself, so I couldn't get too big of a monster. So this is like a powerful mid-size, and I could still like move it around and carry it and get it up and down stairs if I need to. You're not going to be able to really pull that off with a lot of the other bandsaws. Anything like 14 inches and up, you're probably not going to be taking that up and down some stairs, especially by yourself. And that was something I had to consider also. Anyway, thanks for having a few minutes hanging with me. Chug some coffee and play around down here. I've been making my first art easels, my little projects to kind of get used to how things work. I don't know, I can't explain it, but I've been messing around just doing scrap wood projects. It's fun. Have a good day. Bye-bye.